these women supposed to do? Fawn over her? Fangirl over her? Bend the knee? Kiss the wrist? Like, what do you want from them? They're not being petty. They're not trash. Like, who are you talking about? Where? When? What?
Yes, my friends, you just heard from the woman we are going to talk about today, going on an emotional rant concerning her views that there are no jealousies or mistreatments of Caitlyn Clark by players in the WNBA. But before we get into more of her embarrassingly biased perspectives on the subject, let's first delve into some reality concerning the WNBA and in the entitled mindset of many of its players. Before the arrival of Caitlyn Clark into the WNBA, most of us knew nothing about the league. And let's be honest, the reason none of us cared about the WNBA, contrary to what many of the women in the league claim, is not because we are all women-hating, homophobic racists. It was simply because we all rather have spent our time and money watching the NBA. But what basketball fan wouldn't? After all, and I don't mean to be degrading here, but who would want to spend their time and money watching a game where oftentimes the players consistently miss the easiest of layups when they can be watching players soar through the air making incredible slam dunks? Yet after 28 years of being in existence and losing approximately $10 million each of those years, the go-to reasoning its players would publicly voice for their league not being popular, or more importantly, profitable, was always that people are racist and homophobes and that men just won't support them. Even though they only have existed and continue to exist because the men in the NBA subsidize their league. Now, with all of that said, enter the NCAA phenom from Iowa named Caitlyn Clark, a female basketball player who has been able to draw the interest of the entire nation for the first time into the world of women's basketball. A female basketball player who has brought popularity to the WNBA at a level that rivals that of Michael Jordan's with the NBA. One would think that after so many years of whining about how their league was neither supported or popular, that these women would have relished the idea that they finally had the chance to strut their stuff and to earn new fans and support, as well as to have the opportunity to earn new financial benefits through increased salaries and endorsements, which only come through being fan supported and by also proving to the world that they could walk their endless talk. But we know that instead of embracing Caitlyn Clark and the immense increase of fan interest because of her, they instead took the route of petty jealousy and envy, whereby through their clear resentment and treatment of her both in the media and on the court, go out of their way to destroy any hope of retaining many of those new fans who has begun taking an interest in their league. Yet if that in itself was not enough, some are now taking a page from the woke Hollywood example of gaslighting the fans as the reason for their own inept failures. In reference to this, I recently came across this YouTube video of the Elle Duncan show on ESPN that quite frankly astounded me as to the level of her clearly biased perspective and of her attempts to gaslight Caitlyn Clark fans to the point where she even calls them racist and the problem for the WNBA. Now, although she at times in the video attempts to present herself as unbiased, it seems evident to me that she was only being patronizing and had the same entitled mindset concerning Caitlyn Clark as many of these jealous players.
But instead of making it about Kennedy Carter's behavior, you make it about everyone. More evidence. And that's the worst part of all this, is the new fans are sucking the life out of the WNBA right now. It's just the truth. You are right. You are right, new fans. There has never been more viewership because of Caitlyn Clark. There's never been more attention. They're doing 40 minutes on First Take about Caitlyn Clark. They never did that before, as Monica McNutt called out. You're right. But you know what there was in the WNBA last year and the years prior? There was other storylines. There was joy. There was talk of competition. There was talk of what was actually happening on the court. And all there is right now is a culture war. It is a them versus you, a you versus them. There is othering. It is gross. It is not fun. It is not engaging. The WNBA Twitter space used to be one of the most fun. And now it has become a place where racists get to get off their takes, where people get to feel attacked, where randos who have literally no idea anybody else's name in the entire W come to attack the other W. It's not fun.
The one thing that I believe has had and continues to have the most harmful effect on the WNBA is their own inability to acknowledge what is real over what it is that they want to believe is real. The self imposed blindness of these women, wherein they simply refuse to identify reality over their perceptions, is incredibly telling as to why they are arrogantly deaf to what so many try to tell them for their own benefit. Knowing the incredible financial opportunity Caitlyn Clark has brought with her that everyone in the WNBA could profit from has to make one wonder what else besides petty jealousy and childish bruised egos would cause them to create this fan outrage that is admittedly detrimental to the popularity of the league and its players. After all, as Caitlyn Clark fans, we are no different than any other sports fan. And the fact that we complain whenever we see things that are seemingly abusive or unfair is no different than how an NBA fan would react if they saw the same for a player they supported. But this is the race baiting, homophobic, anti feminist rhetoric that you always go to in how you react to us as fans whenever we question you or call you out. However, you don't see any other sports league attacking their fans publicly as racist and as those who are ruining their league because of their criticisms. And so, at what juncture are you not willing to accept that it is your own conduct that causes many of us to believe that you are acting jealous and petty towards Caitlyn Clark? Because from the moment that she entered the draft, all we as her fans have heard from WNBA players is the consistent race baiting and homophobic accusations as to why Caitlyn Clark is so popular. The arrogance that both the players and media have at times displayed throughout her time in the WNBA has been revealing as to just how petty and entitled you are. And nothing turns off a fan quite like that does. It is evident that to you, all that matters is what you think is right and good, and how you only want to use fans to suit your own purposes without having any regard for them.
That's how I am with social media. Like I want to get off, and then I want to get out. All right.
Whoa.
I don't want to know about
get on.
Yeah.
And then get off.
Yeah. There you know what? Fair. That's what I want. I want to get on and get off, quite literally, and then get out. All right. I don't want you to call me. I don't want to know about your family. I don't want to know about your life. I don't want to know about any of that. I want to use you when I want you, and then I want to disappear altogether. And also, you don't call me. I only call you. Okay.
There is a scripture verse in the Bible that says, "Out of the mouth proceeds what is in the heart." And of course, we all know the old saying that if you want to know what a person really thinks, just listen closely whenever they talk. So, what are we supposed to believe about your mindset towards Caitlyn Clark when you continually go public with this type of entitled attitude of, it's just all about me and my wants? Yet, as I always believe, factual evidence should always be the foundation of what I believe to be true. So, let's take a look at what the evidence reveals about whether Caitlyn Clark fans are being racist bigots who are making false accusations. Here is what Caitlyn Clark has said about her being welcomed to the WNBA by other players after a reporter asked her about any advice other players had given her upon her entering the WNBA.
And what's the best advice that Bet has given you in this season?
Nobody gives me advice in the game. I wish.
So here we have the young woman who has been labeled as the best college women's basketball player of all time enter the WNBA. And no other player has taken the time to come alongside of her and give her advice, let alone to mentor her as a rookie. The loneliness she is experiencing in the league is abundantly evident both in her voice and in her face. Yet isn't it interesting that in all other sports, an experienced player helping a rookie in some way is something that they all will do? How is the fact that none of the players in the WNBA has done this for her not revealing of the players being petty and jealous? But for greater validity, let's look at the comments made by some of those who are considered experts in basketball and see what it is that they believe the evidence shows concerning how the players of the WNBA conduct themselves towards Caitlyn Clark. Here is Gino Armenta, one of the most respected voices in women's basketball, with the career coaching record of 1,211 wins with only 161 losses. He is the longtime coach of UConn and has won more NCAA Division I national championships than anyone else in history. And this is what he was quoted as saying when asked by reporters his view concerning the treatment of Caitlyn Clark by the WNBA players. He says, "Is she facing the rookie challenge? The rookie hardships that are inherent with being a rookie? Yes. She's also being targeted." Next is Charles Barkley, an 11-time NBA All-Star and current NBA analyst who, after getting pushback by some ESPN female commentators for his views on the Caitlyn Clark situation, said this: "But the girl's gotta grow up and yo, you know what? I can go at her hard on the basketball court, but the visibility and stuff she's bringing to the league is only going to fill all our wallets up in the long run. It's just petty jealousy, and it's really unfortunate." Next, we have Shaquille O'Neal, a 15-time NBA All-Star and 4-time NBA Champions perspective on the players. He says, "So I think where people get upset is, as a player, you don't want to be forgotten. It's professional jealousy." And let's talk about Stephen A. Smith, a longtime NBA analyst at ESPN, who also hosts sports shows on both ESPN and radio, who said the following: "These are girls, young ladies in the WNBA, who are jealous of Caitlyn Clark." And lastly, but not by any means least, is what the 2-time WNBA championship winning, 3-time WNBA MVP, 8-time WNBA All-Star, 4-time Olympic gold medal winner, and WNBA Hall of Famer Lisa Leslie had to say about Caitlyn Clark being on the Olympic team. She says, "She better be on the Olympic team. We should not leave the country without her. She's a bona fide baller. There's no doubt she's already one of the best players in the world." So, explain to me exactly how it is that what we as Caitlyn Clark fans are saying in our views of how she is being treated by the WNBA can be considered racist. After all, if we are the ones who are in line with what these quote-unquote experts in the sport of professional basketball have also observed, and you're not, then who really is the problem? Let me end by saying 2 things. First, we are not affected by what these woke lunatics say, because none of us ever believe that those who are so given to always having to gaslight others to avoid having to face their own lack of talent will ever have the integrity to accept what really is true. And secondly, to all of you whining WNBA players and media types like this L. Duncan who hate us for our support of Caitlyn Clark, we want you to know that we are unapologetically Caitlyn Clark fans because she not only is a phenomenally talented basketball player, but she is also a star athlete that genuinely cares about her fans. And perhaps, to many of us, the best reason that we are diehard fans is because regardless of how many bad things you all say and do to her, she never says a bad thing back to demean you. She always conducts herself with the type of maturity and decency that fans love their sports heroes to possess. All this, and she is only 22 years old. At what age will you all gain this level of decency and maturity? So, as far as us Caitlyn Clark fans are concerned, whine and cry all you want about how we are all racist, homophobic, anti-feminine bigots. Because like we've always felt with the WNBA in the past, we just don't care. So feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to share this video and to punch that like button if you agree. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever a new video is posted. And I'd like to say thank you very much if you already have. But if you haven't, would you hit that subscribe button, as that would be a great help to me, and I can't tell you just how much I would appreciate your support. So as always, I'd just like to say God bless you, and thanks so much for taking the time to listen. Until next time.